it's August 23rd, 2010, and I've been doing some stuff with my extra. I've landed it a few times, you know, trying to harry it or whatever. I think the problem with this thing, and I've heard all sorts of stuff, you know, about you know, the wings upside down, wings being flat, and all this kind of stuff. I think the problem with this plane is it doesn't have enough wing, and the tips of the wings are very, very soft. What I'm thinking of doing is adding to the wing from this area here. Instead of having it a tapered wing, have it just tapered from the back only, and add to the wing here. And I think that's going to solve our problem. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the edges of the wings off here, and going to add some styrofoam or something to the front, and then make some side formers on this side and sturdy up the sides of those wing tips, because they're pretty soft and brittle. So that's going to be my project. Okay, this whole wing thing, you know, about, you know, symmetrical, blah blah blah. If you take a look here at this piece of wing, you can see it's roughly straight. Okay, just the front and the bottom are slightly rounded off, just a little bit from maybe the first inch or so. But it's basically just a completely flat wing. And just beveled. About maybe 1.25 inches or so that are off on both sides. Okay, so that's this piece of carbon fiber tubing that's in here. So yeah, I think now we'll just sand that off perfectly straight with our flat edge sander, and then we can begin starting to rebuild the wing. Okay, oh, and by the way, they weren't laterally balanced out of the box anyway. That's the reason for the little tiny screws. I just screw a couple little tiny screws on the end of the wingtip, make sure she's laterally balanced. But yeah, look at that, eh? Straight as a board. I had my wings glued together, believe it or not. Taking a look here, just trying to see the profile of the wing. You see, it's, yeah, really flat. And take a look. Here's that profile of that wing. As you can see, it is really flat. More flat than I ever dreamed that it would be, and that's from the inside of the wing. I had mine glued on because they seem to be really loose after I attached them to the plane. So now I've taken a whole pile of shit off there. As you can see, this is all the polyurethane that I had just sort of painted onto there to be able to hold the wings on nice and tight. So we'll continue on with some renovations to the X300. Look at the talked about, yeah, that looks like a, you know, semi-symmetrical, you know, sort of. It's not completely symmetrical, but there, you know, it is curved, definitely. And when we look at it on this side, okay, you can see that the wing is basically flat. Okay, looking at it this way. Now when we hold the profile, you take a look at the bottom side. You can see, if I run the lens right down there, that there is some curvature, you know, definitely coming over the top. Okay, now we look at it here, and let's eye it up. Okay, wing is slightly warped. Take a look there, right down that leading edge. You can see a little bit of warpage in the wing. Turn around this way, you can definitely see the warpage in the wing. And you notice how it sort of pans out this way. Okay, well, that's where the wing gets completely flat. Okay, I use this as a drinking serving table. That's how actually flat that is. So what I'm thinking is a little digital scale. I'm going to put a wing on here, and we're going to see what this one side weighs. This one side weighs 73 grams, 2.55 ounces. So let's take a look at the other wing. Okay, I'll put the other wing back on. Little scratch attacks that I made. See that leading edge is completely straight, and it tapers off at the back side. The Parkzone tapers from both sides of the wing. So if we put this where that would be flush on the plane, that would be flush up against the plane there. You can see the difference in how it's tapering, which is the design of the wing. I understand that. But there's this whole area here that I'm thinking where the aileron starts. Like, that's an awful lot of wing area to lose, and it's almost roughly the same size wing, because you got to remember I took that little inch and a quarter off there. So it's basically the same size plane, and I can't remember the exact weight of each side of the wings on this plane, but they were so light it was it was just ridiculous. So these little wings from Parkzone here they're pretty heavy. So thinking of maybe a way to maybe even lighten the body up about these planes, and what I've found is yeah, they fly. They definitely fly. They fly very fast. You hear all the stuff about the landings and the wings and all this kind of stuff, and yeah, that's all true, but there's something that no one's really thought of, and is that this motor is like extremely powerful. Okay, for like a 15 size motor, it's a rank motor, so it's power. I'm not talking weight, I'm talking the power of the airplane versus the weight of the airplane. Not just the weight versus the size, the amount of the power that this motor has. This is just like a heavy motor pulling a box behind it. Okay, it's going to go fast, it's going to fly, it's going to go vertical, it's going to do all these things. But when you start getting into the 3D maneuvers, okay, where all of your surfaces and the way they're designed, and semi-symmetrical versus fully symmetrical, all those things start to come into play. The lateral balance, things like that, that's when the things get horky. Because these things are so fast, everybody seems to be just flying them fast, and yeah, take them up in the air and spin the crap out of them. And they do that, with like nothing. It's not a beginner airplane because they're a little twitchy, and I've got my expo set at around 50% on my high rates and 20 on my low rates, and they they definitely fly. So just the motor has a lot of power. Now you scale this thing down and have the same weight of motor, but just in less power. I think you're going to find out that this thing would just be an absolute pig in the air. Okay, so Parkzone's, they've thought this one up pretty good as far as getting the thing going. Getting a motor that's going to carry this thing, and while they're at home, sleeping off, a good day's work in the factory. This is the kind of shit that's keeping me up nights. Another interesting find, what I found, looking at the bottom of the wing here, I took the tape off that covers the servo and released the arm to find that the control surface was really tight, like stupidly tight, to be able to move that. So I took away the tape that runs across the whole bottom